So again, this is a past paper question from the Cambridge IGCSE, and it's quite a common question. I've seen this in quite a few of the past papers, and it's giving you that option between shop 1 and shop 2. Now, with any question which we've discussed in the past, you have to carry out IDF just to make sure that you fully understand what the question is asking. If we look at I for instruction, we can see that the command word in this question is justify. So instructing you to justify your answer. Now, before you can justify your answer, you have to obviously carry out a balanced argument and you have to analyse. And again, in the question, it tells you consider the advantages and the disadvantages before you even think about justifying. If you think about D for direction, it's directing you towards the insert, and it's directing you towards shop 1 and shop 2. So just remember, the answers are in the case study. You have to use the case study. Without using the case study, you will not get the application marks. It'll be generic and it'll be a weak answer. The focus is quite obvious in this case. It's the expansion of another shop. So it's looking at the topic of location. But with location, you can link and interlink so many different topics within it. So, as I said before, the answers are all in the case study, so let's read the case study. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes just to read over the case study. If we return to this bit of the case study, this bit is the most important. It really looks at the differences between shop 1 and the differences between shop 2. Remember, when we're looking at application is not just saying the entrepreneur's name. Application is not just saying the brand name and talk about the product they sell. Application is considering what the situation is. We know Selena is the entrepreneur. We know she sells jewelry, but what is her current situation? And as soon as we look at this, and it shows us that she only has $5,000 in savings, that kind of gives you a bit of a rough idea. It says that maybe her savings are quite limited, and that might be quite decisive in which shop she should go for. There's other clues as well within a scenario. So in terms of she's looking to expand, so she's looking to grow. She has an idea of a unique selling point, which we can see in the shop 1 bit. If we can see it around here, Selena thinks that making the jewelry in the shop so that customers can watch might attract customers to buy jewelry. So that's her a unique idea to increase competitiveness, and we could potentially use these clues within our points to really develop the application of the answer. If we have a look at shop 1, for example, there's so many points that we could use. We could say that the disadvantage is expensive, $100,000 when she's only got $5,000 in savings. That might be problematic. We could say an advantage that it's in a busy shopping mall. However, a disadvantage, there's many other jewelry retailers in the shopping mall. An advantage, many people visit and it's open 7 days a week. Disadvantage, there's no room at the back of the shop to make jewelry. Now, there's lots of points there. Should we use them all? Probably not. And the reason for that is because it'll start to create a shopping list of points, and it'll limit your development. And what the examiner is looking for is that you're able to pick one point and fully develop it. So that's what we're going to do right now. And the main point I'm going to look at is that it's a small shop in a shopping mall at the centre of the city. Okay, and that's going to be my key point. Now, in order to develop it, there's lots of different techniques that you could use. With my classes, I use the stepping stone approach, and I consider if you're leaving Island A, for example, and you want to get to island B, instead of jumping straight from island A to island B, you take the risk-free approach and you use the stepping stones to make sure you get there safely. Now, every stepping stone is a development strand, and by the end of the last stepping stone, you should be in the position to complete the chain of arguments. I will do a video based on the stepping stone approach soon. So let's have a little look at this. This is the first point. One advantage for shop one is that it'd be located in a busy shopping mall. I've not committed myself. I've not said I think Selena should pick shop one for this, because you kind of evaluating there before you've even fully looked at the balance between shop one and shop two. So again, at this point here, and what I'm finding with a lot of my students is that they'll jump on from this point and they'll say why this is good. Okay, they'll look at, well, this could lead to increased revenue, but they're not actually concentrating on the initial point. They're not looking at, well, if it's in a busy shopping mall, why is that an advantage? What's the reasoning behind that point? So let's look at that now. The reasoning would be, well, therefore this would mean that there would be a higher footfall. That sentence there is really, really key, because it really explains, well, why is being located in a busy shopping mall an advantage at all? Okay, and that just gives it a quick bit of reasoning, and then we can develop it further. Now, this sentence here is the one that seems to be missing from a lot of my students, and this is what I want them to focus on. So if it's got higher footfall, again, what would that lead to? Let's have a look. So again, just added some development. This means that there would be a higher chance of customers passing by and noticing the shop and possibly entering it. The ultimately meaning point, this could ultimately increase revenue for Selena, helping her growth, because remember, that's a main objective. She wants to expand. Now, that's an advantage, but it's not guaranteed. Yes, she's in a busy shopping mall. There would be higher footfall. There would be a higher chance of customers passing by and noticing it, but the customer might not always go in. And if we look back at the case study, it does state that there is actually a lot of competition nearby, and this could impact the demand that we've just been speaking about. What I've done here is I've considered a depends upon, and this just adds balance to my point, and it explores it further. So, but however, this depends upon how the competition would react. It does say in the case study that there's going to be rival jewelers. Okay, so as the shop is limited, which therefore stops her from carrying out the unique selling point of allowing her customers to watch production, this may reduce her competitiveness. So therefore, she may not actually attract the demands which the higher footfall could possibly create. Now, if we return to shop two, and again, there's just as many points. The shop is for rent at $5,000 per year. That's fairly cheap in comparison to shop one. That could be an advantage in terms of more realistic. It's located on a main road leading to the city centre. You could see it as an advantage again, that it's a main road with a lot of cars passing by. There's many shops nearby. Again, that's an advantage. It means that there's a marketplace. Customers do go there to shop, but none of them sell jewellery. Again, could that be an advantage? Could that mean that there's less competition? Or could it be a disadvantage that customers are not well known to be going to this area to buy jewellery? So actually maybe there isn't an established marketplace for this specific product. The shop is large, again, an advantage. Plenty of room at the back, so therefore the unique selling point can be put in operation. However, it's only open 6 days a week, so a disadvantage. Again, should we use all those points? No, because that again would be a shopping list of points. So let's just pick one point and then develop it. My main point, my main advantage, I've decided is going to be the shop size. And the reason why I'm picking that is because it links to the counter argument for shop one. So I think it flows much a smoother rate. So let's have a look at it. So my main point is, in comparison to shop one, shop two is large in size. Now again, I'm going to sell that as an advantage, but why is that an advantage? Let's look at the reason. Let's look at that really important sentence. Again, I've allowed for the reasoning, but therefore this means that it should be able to operate the unique selling point of allowing customers to watch production. I've just, again, provide reason why that's important. And this is important as the case study states, she believes it would attract customers. Well, if it attracts customers, then again, what does that lead to? What does that ultimately mean for Selena? So let's just put a little bit of theory in. And again, it's not too dissimilar to what I put in the first point. And this would ultimately improve demand and increase revenue for Selena, and again, help her growth. But there is a depends upon. And the depends point I'm going to look at is the fact that there's no similar shops in the area. And I use that as I suppose, a disadvantage to this point that I've just used. So my depends upon is, however, this does depend on whether customers will be attracted to trialing the shop, as the area is not well known for jewellery shops. So just to develop that a little bit further, if customers would prefer the shopping mall due to the range of jewellery shops, the unique selling point might be pointless. So I've looked at shop 1, I've looked at shop 2, I've done my advantages, I've done my disadvantages. I'm now in the position to look at my evaluation. Now, when I'm looking at my evaluation, I don't really want to introduce brand new points throughout. I might bring in a new point just to justify it a little bit further, but really, I'm basing it on the analysis I've already done. I don't want to just repeat everything that I've already said, because that's just repetition. It doesn't justify it. What I want to do is I want to use the points that I've already used. I want to explain, or sorry, evaluate why these points are more important than the other points I've mentioned. Okay, so this opening sentence to my evaluation is what I call signposting. It tells the examiner that this is my evaluation. It makes it very, very clear to the examiner. You have to remember, the examiner is marking hundreds of papers. So therefore, you want to make their job as easy as possible. So, in judgment to the question, I believe shop 2 would be the more suitable option. Now, that's not the right answer, okay? It's not the wrong answer either. There is no right or wrong answer, as long as you argue it well. It could be shop 1, it could be shop 2. As long as you argue it, it's absolutely fine. So, the reason why I believe shop 2 is more suitable is, as Selena is still growing, she may find it hard to compete in the mall without a unique selling point. So that is to the point I made in the depends upon for shop 1, but I have not used it in the same way, because what I've looked at now is, well, that could be actually a great risk considering the cost of the premises. You have to remember, $100,000 is a lot, especially when she's only got 5,000 in savings. Therefore, why not use that? Why not actually say that and use the data to back up this point? I've used the data just to support it further. I've put the premises is $100,000, and when she only has 5,000 savings, if she doesn't attract demand earlier on, it may cause financial problems. So now I'm going to delve further into shop 2. If she chooses shop 2, it's much more manageable, and again in brackets 5,000 per year, which she already has in her savings, and she can use the unique selling point to help improve her brand image. To relating back to the analysis I've already said. But I'm also going to actually look into the long-term plan for Selena. Yes, the question is asking, should it be shop 1 or should it be shop 2? But actually, in the future, why not both? If shop 2 is a success, then she could always look at shop 1 later down the line, especially if her brand image does improve because of the unique selling points. So I'm also going to use that as a long-term plan for Selena, because Selena shouldn't be limited with her growth. She should be always looking to grow further. Again, if shop 2 is a success, you could always then look to expand further in the mall and have a better chance due to the improved brand image. With that evaluation, it's justified. There isn't repetition. I've looked at the bigger picture, and I've done something that the examiner is looking for, which is a weighted evaluation. I've looked at which point is the most important. Why is that point more important than the other points?